Hello, I'm Bernie Hayes. Today's guest is Ms. Jerroll Sanders. She's an executive, business executive, author, writer, producer, and even I could say actor. Today on The Bernie Hayes Show. Hello, and welcome back. I'm Bernie Hayes, and my guest is Ms. Jerroll Sanders. Ms. Sanders, how are you?
I am doing wonderful, Bernie.
You're doing great. You've been very active. It's been about 3 years since you've visited with us.
Yes.
About 3 years. Well, it's the last time I saw you. But how have you been?
I am doing well and continuing to work.
I know you've been working. Maxine Johnson has been coming and talking to me about you, and she even appeared on the program in your stead one time. So she's been telling me how busy you've been, but maybe it's better that you tell us how busy you've been. You've been really, really busy. You have a new company now, I understand.
Yes, and before I share that, I'd just like to say Maxine did a wonderful job in bringing everyone up to date on what we're doing. But I have a new company called For Chief Executives LLC, and it is delivering online training to chief executives, which include new business owners and existing business owners. And, my position is if you're going to be in a profession, you should know how to master the tools of the trade. And business ownership has tools that business owners need to master in order to be successful. So it's my goal to deliver those tools and that knowledge to business owners in a series, a 12-part series, that we will soon release titled Your Own Business, Your Pathway to Wealth, Startups, Mergers, and Acquisitions. So that will be the first offering on the For Chief Executives website portal that I am launching.
Okay, for persons who want to take advantage of this, how can they reach you and get more information?
Well, they can go to forchiefexecutives.com and sign up. There's a place to sign up, and we will begin communicating so that they can take part in the launch, which will be a fun launch, as well as an informative launch. But they can also sign up to take advantage of this one-of-a-kind business series. I am so excited about this series.
And how can they reach you by phone?
They can reach me by phone at 202-817-1331.
202, that's a Washington, D.C. area telephone. You've been spending a lot of time in Washington, have you not?
I have, and I have over the years spent a lot of time in Washington, D.C. because I'm always, we're meeting with congressional leaders about policies and some of the other things that I'm also involved in.
Mm-hmm. Police reform, you were very, very active in originating and doing some things in that area. Tell us about that.
Well, with the Ferguson uprising, during the Ferguson uprising, I was involved in some of the DOJ meetings and really conducted deep research on the ground on a daily basis to discover what is the real solution to the policing problem, because we continue to see the same kinds of occurrences over and over again. And so in researching and using strategy to develop a solution, I devised a comprehensive policing proposal that we've advanced. In fact, many of the tenets that you see in the George Floyd Act actually emanated from the legislative proposal that we've developed. But we have a new strategy this year that we will be implementing because we really believe that you can achieve anything with the right strategy. And the policing proposal, called the Equality in Policing Act by its short name, long name, the Uniform Reporting Law Enforcement Improvement Act, would standardize policing across the nation and essentially catalog all of the data that allows us to see everything we need to see about criminal justice, as well as identify problem officers very quickly and permanently remove them from law enforcement.
Now, you interact with a lot of congressional people, senators and representatives and legal people in the, I assume, Department of Justice also. So would you consider yourself a lobbyist, or how do you approach these people to get this legislation passed?
Actually, I do not consider myself a lobbyist, but I do lobby because in my personal capacity. And in fact, we're actually looking this year, we're going to abandon our 501c4 status because we find it a bit restrictive. We feel we need to be able to do any and everything necessary to save the lives of our children, our loved ones, and broader community members, because, Bernie, one thing people are not aware of is the degree to which whites are also killed by law enforcement, Hispanics, Asians. It is a systemic problem that affects everyone, even though it affects African Americans very disproportionately. So we want to begin to find all of those people who are adversely affected by America's policing problem and enlist them in calling for a comprehensive overhaul, a complete destruction of the system as it exists, and a rebuilding of the system under the structure proposed by your Leah, which we are confident will do the job. In fact, we've had people from President Obama's 21st Century Committee stand up at conventions after I've spoken and said, we are aware of it, it is the answer. So that's what we're pushing.
You were very active in Ferguson and other activities and other socialist activities. Being social yourself and active yourself. How did you become involved? What triggered that desire for you for justice?
I have been a proponent of justice from a very early age. Even in high school, I played harp, and I have a harp sitting in my living room right now, in fact. But I recall my harp teacher, I'd gone to the dentist, and I came in, and all the classmates, black classmates, were crying because my harp teacher had allowed only white students to audition for scholarships for a camp in Florida. And I essentially approached the principal about that, and he reproved her for that. Throughout my life, even as I built one of the largest communications firms here in St. Louis, I was active in the school partnership programs, brought kids down, busloads of kids to AT&T and for tours. So it's just, I guess, part of my fabric is this belief that all people are entitled to opportunities and to pursue whatever their skills and talents allow them to pursue. And I'm really put off by injustices.
I know you've been very active in the struggle. Have you seen any progress?
I have seen progress in that there are, I think, formidable solutions. For example, the legislative proposal that we've introduced is a solution. It has not yet been passed into law, but at least we right now have a solution. And so our next step is to help people understand that you can achieve anything with the right strategy. So strategy is my strong suit. And I am convinced that we can and we will succeed in getting your Leah enacted into law. However, what I have concluded and we have concluded as an organization is that we must change course in order to achieve that.
Once again, how can we reach you?
202-817-1331. And also, for those who are interested in our legislative proposal, you can go to changeisonus.org, changeisonus.org, and learn more about that policing legislative proposal called Your Leah, or the Equality in Policing Act.
When we come back, I want to talk about My Empty Chair and also voting rights, because I know you're very active in that movement. So and we'll do that because they've been doing so much in so many things, and so we're so interested. But I'd like to remind the people that we're at the New Life Evangelistic Center, 2428 Woodson Road in Overland, Missouri. And Reverend Larry Rice is now getting ready to celebrate 50 years of helping those in need. And we'll be right with Jerroll Sanders after this.
Will you help New Life Evangelistic Center get back into 1411 Locust Street? Your tax-deductible gifts are urgently needed at this particular time, and there's many different ways that we're working to get back in that facility. One of the ways is to continue to inform the community through the Bernie Hayes Show and other programs. And if you haven't supported the Bernie Hayes Show and the work of New Life Evangelistic Center, please do it now. It's urgently needed. Your gifts are deeply appreciated. So many homeless people are waiting to get back into 1411 Locust, and so many others need the direct help that New Life is trying to provide at this time, but it's facing some real financial needs, and that's why your gift is very, very important. And to express our thankfulness for all of you that are sharing your gifts, we want to send you this special Bernie Hayes cup. It's my wife's favorite drinking cup. She loves to drink out of this cup, and this is actually the only coffee cup she wants to use is the Bernie Hayes cup. It's something very special about this cup, and we'll send it to each one of you that share a gift of $25 or more with the New Life Evangelistic Center and ask for your Bernie Hayes cup. It's P.O. Box 473, St. Louis, Missouri, that's 63166. Your gift will not only help us get back into the 1411 Locust building, but will help our first responders that are on the streets, the first responders that we have out there day after day, night after night. It will help keep our women and children in our safe houses, continue to keep our training programs open, our worldwide mission work, whether it's in India, Haiti, Africa, so many different things the New Life Evangelistic Center is doing. In addition to NLEC TV, tell your family and friends about it. Put it on your phone. Put on your get that phone app on all your friends' phones so that they can all see the Bernie Hayes Show or go to 24.2. It's your prayers and gifts that make all of this possible. I thank God for those of you who continue to pray for the reopening of 1411 Locust and the work of New Life Evangelistic Center. There's so many obstacles we're facing as we try to help the homeless, but we're going to continue to give it to God. We're going to continue to pray. We're going to continue to work, but we need you to partner with us. So again, it's New Life Evangelistic Center, P.O. Box 473, St. Louis, Missouri, that's 63166. I thank God for each one of you that are praying, caring, and sharing.
And welcome back. I'm Bernie Hayes. My guest is Ms. Jerroll Sanders. She's so many things and so many different people, actually. And I understand you have a brand new movie and a lecture series and so forth. Tell us about My Empty Chair. What does that mean and what is it?
My Empty Chair is a kind of a snapshot, I would call it, of an epic encounter I had with the Internal Revenue Service regarding a $100 million contract that I managed to secure and perform with not one deficiency, one cost overrun, or one missed deadline. In fact, the Commissioner of IRS, during my personal presentation in his office, asked me, "Do you have any idea what you have accomplished?" But my performance as a Black woman was not enough. In fact, the fact that I was a Black woman was considered by some a reason to rule me ineligible to retain that contract. So thus began an epic struggle on the part of top U.S. Treasury executives, presidential appointees, to remove that contract from my hands.
I was going to ask you about that, the struggles you've had just by being a Black woman here in America, because I know that you've been doing so much. And I was wondering if being who you are was a hindrance to you in many ways.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I have found that when you stand up and you do so with knowledge, it can be very much of an affront to those who do not appreciate Black excellence. And sometimes I think I probably encounter a few more battles than I would as a Black woman if I were not knowledgeable in the way that allows me, in whatever arena I am in, to effectively challenge injustice. So yes, I have found that to be the case, that there are people who like to take me on to show me who's boss, because when I present knowledge, that is an affront to some.
What is My Empty Chair? What is that?
My Empty Chair, the meaning of it is that we as African Americans and people of color And everyone should be given the right to sort of orchestrate our own lives, to direct our lives. And my empty chair is, again, about that $100 million contract that I managed to secure, and the steps that were taken by top Treasury executives to divert that contract to a firm that would be far less equipped than mine, even a firm that was non-existent. But the promise of a contract of that magnitude, the prize to be had, was significant, so significant that many just simply could not envision allowing an African American to retain that contract.
Wow. I understand that you've made a movie from it or video of My Empty Chair. I think Bob Dimler has a trailer. May we see that, Bob? It's called My Empty Chair by Jerroll Sanders. And welcome back. Jerroll, that's very interesting. Gee whiz, what did we just see?
Well, again, what you've seen is just a snapshot of a battle that has gone on for every bit of 20 years. It extends to the highest levels of the government, including the U.S. presidency. It involves every branch of government one can imagine. I tell people I probably know more about the structure of the federal government than most Americans. And it is ongoing. I successfully positioned my case surrounding this, to never have a statute of limitations. And right now I am pursuing the hundreds of millions of dollars the federal government owes me.
And what about voting rights? I know you've thrown yourself 100% heartily into making voting rights available for everybody. Tell us your fight for voting rights, please.
Well, right now, in fact, very recently, I have begun to organize individuals, such as alerting you, Mr. Hayes, that I wrote a constitutional case that a U.S. appeals court labeled novel, meaning that I presented legal arguments that had never been entertained by a U.S. court of law. And by the way, I am not an attorney. I advanced that case actually following the election of Donald Trump, because it became obvious that Donald Trump had been aided by Russia. But that case contains precepts and legal issues that would allow President Biden to actually implement many of the voting rights requirements without even having to secure congressional approval. In other words, it provides the basis and the foundation for really achieving voting rights if, some of these senators do not agree with or participate in supporting the voting rights as they currently exist.
To whom are you engaging with to get this legislation passed?
Well, I wrote an article about it, and right now we are trying to reach out. We've just really started to advance this, because after it was clear the kinds of struggles and challenges they are having with the voting right legislation that's before Congress, which, by the way, is just I've read it, it is just so impressive. But again, Warnock is the person right now we're targeting. We want to help them read through it, understand what its implications are, and we want them to embrace it and move forward in persuading President Biden to use the powers he has now pursuant to the legal case that I advanced.
How much research did you do in negotiating this?
It was extensive. We were meeting with Harvard attorneys, with Lawrence Tribe. Basically, I started a revote effort, and people from across the country jumped in, and we were looking for an attorney to write a case, and Harvard attorneys were saying there is no basis for a revote, and I found a basis, and I drafted the legal argument, and attorneys from everywhere called to commend on the case and the arguments. And I advanced it to the Supreme Court. When the appeals court basically ruled it a case of first impression, that really confirmed its credibility. And now it is obvious from looking at the legal arguments that those arguments can be used by Biden to justify implementing a wide-scale voter reform effort in every state throughout the U.S. related to voting.
That's very impressive. So much more I want to talk to you about. We'll be right back with Jerroll Sanders after this.
It's time we come out of this cold, dark, hopeless world and declare the Word of God, because Proverbs 29:18 says, where there's no vision, the people perish. Study the history of New Life Evangelistic Center, and you will see that over the last 50 years, God has used His people to seek Him in the midst of crisis after crisis, whether it was the 1980 heat crisis, to how did the Lord use that to bring forth thousands and thousands of fans and air conditioners, whether it's the violence prevention programs of the 1990s, was it the Holy Spirit moving in a mighty way to bring forth Christian television and radio? We give God the glory. Yes, we're celebrating 50 years of God's faithfulness, but also 50 years of vision. The Bible says where there's no vision, the people perish. These insurmountable problems you may face at this time, get down before God, seek Him, lay it out before Him, and don't be surprised if He starts stirring a vision in your heart. Then stand on the promises of God and move forth by faith. I'd love for you to share that vision with me. You can write me, Larry Rice, at P.O. Box 473, St. Louis, Missouri, at 63166. Together, we can be the light Christ has called us to be.
Here's our Black History moment. The flyer, BESSIE Coleman. Born in Atlanta, Texas in 1892, BESSIE Coleman grew up in a world of harsh poverty, discrimination, and segregation. She moved to Chicago at 23 to seek her fortune, but found little opportunity there as well. Wild tales of flying exploits from returning World War I soldiers first inspired her to explore aviation, but she faced a double stigma in that dream because she was African American and a woman. Coleman performed at numerous air shows over the next 5 years, performing heart-thrilling stunts, encouraging the other African Americans to pursue flying and refusing to perform where blacks were not admitted. When she tragically died in a plane crash in 1926, famous writer and equal rights advocate Ida B. Wells presided over her funeral. BESSIE Coleman, female pilot.
Now you can take NLEC TV anywhere as you put the NLEC TV app on your iPhone or mobile device. NLEC TV is the innovative TV station that's on the cutting edge of community service. When you tune in to NLEC TV, you'll discover a television station that has been operated by previously homeless individuals who've received broadcast training through New Life Evangelistic Center's unique on-the-job training program. On NLEC TV, you'll discover wholesome family, community, renewable energy, and inspirational programming. For further information, call 314-436-2424 or go to nlecstl.org. That's nlecstl.org.
Welcome back. I'm Bernie Hayes. Jerroll Sanders is my guest. She is so many. She's an executive, she's a writer, she's an author, and actually, as you can see from My Empty Chair, she's not an actor, but she has a movie out. And Ms. Sanders, tell us about Jerroll Sanders. Who is Jerroll Sanders?
I am a person who truly cares about people, and I believe in systemic equity. I believe that you create equitable systems and you allow people to achieve their life dreams or not succeed. Whatever it is that a person wants to do, I believe he or she should be able to do it. I'm inspirational, I think, to people. I encourage them. I see the best in people. I'm not a respecter of person, and I believe wholeheartedly that in change. I believe that everything can be improved, but I think having the right strategy is essential to that. And usually when you see failure, or even in our community, when you see these problems that we continue to confront, over and over again, I think it's often because we've not adopted the right strategy. We've bought into some strategies. Sometimes, black only isn't the strategy that works to get something done. So we need to be open, flexible, and I'm a strategist, I'm an accountant, and I'm a learner, and I like learning from people. I believe that's indispensable, listening to people, because everyone has something to offer, and most people have a way of educating you in a way that perhaps you weren't educated before.
And what's the name of the organization for change?
It's changeisonus.org. That's a nonprofit that is essentially working to advance our legislative policing proposal. And we also address other issues that are relevant to our black community nationwide.
Change is on us.
Yes.
I remember you last time you were here, that's what you were promoting. And also the new company you're starting. What's the name of it?
I am so excited about this endeavor, Bernie, and I am now taping the series, and I just taped the first of 12, and I had to say, this is just going to be super for all of those business owners out there who jump into business, never take the time to learn how to operate a business, and then, within 2 years, 33% of the business are gone, and within 4 years, almost 60% are gone. So I want to help business owners, people who want to change their lives economically, develop the tools to operate their business like the big girls and boys.
Are you from St. Louis, or where are you from?
I'm actually from Detroit, Michigan,
Okay.
but I live in both places, Detroit and Michigan. I'm a dual resident, and I love both communities.
Detroit and St. Louis?
Yes.
Okay. And you spend so much time in Washington, you could be
Yes.
trio.
Yes, and
Trio, right?
Yes, and I grew up in Detroit across the street from Martha Reeves of the Vandellas, and Marvin Gaye lived on the corner. And when I was a kid, I danced, do modern dance at Smokey Robinson's house. So, I'm right there in the Motown scene.
That was the West Side, right?
The West Side of Detroit, exactly, exactly.
Certainly. Well, once again, tell us about how we can reach you and why we should reach you.
Well, you can reach me again at 202-817-1331. But business owners, if you really want to change your lives in a way that will do that in perpetuity, I invite you to go to the 4chiefexecutives.com and sign up. Even if you're just contemplating a business, do that. So you can be a part of our national launch. And then definitely go to view the movie, My Empty Chair. I think there's much to learn. And also, I will be launching a website page on My Empty Chair where you can follow my efforts. I am currently pursuing the $500 million that the federal government owes me. And I will be chronicling those steps, the letters, the video, everything on a page related to My Empty Chair. So definitely go to myemptychair.com and sign up.
What do you think people will get from viewing My Empty Chair? What do you hope they'll get from it?
What I hope they will get is that excellence in business can be a protector and can insulate you from some of the really harmful things that people intend for you, because the ultimate goal was to incarcerate me since I wouldn't go away. Okay. And because of the excellence, they couldn't, my accounting and everything else, that made it very impossible for them to do that, or difficult at least.
Jerroll Sanders, thank you so much for visiting with us today. Good luck on your business. Good luck on your new adventures and ventures. And I just want to say thank you. You've always inspired me, and I want to say continue to do what you're doing.
Thank you so much, Bernie. It's a pleasure being with you today.
Pleasure seeing you again, too. And thank you for viewing the New Life Evangelistic Center. And please, if you're not vaccinated, get your shots. Stay protected. I'm Bernie Hayes. Have a great day.